Thank
on
you.
an app like Twitter.
Thank you. So good morning, everyone who is here. Oh, hold on. I don't know. Oh, I know why. Because I was doing a little fun stuff here earlier. Oh, boy.
Twitter, because Elon Musk is
Oh, yeah. It always just blows my mind that it pops up. Okay. So, good morning, all. Tony's talking about...
Ron DeSantis is a fucking weirdo.
Yes. Ron DeSantis is a fucking weirdo who tried to do his announcement yesterday on Twitter, and Twitter blew up. Remember, I think I might have told you guys, Twitter one time was one of my neighbors in the Colo in San Francisco. Back in the days when there were whale fails and things like that, they were actually in our Colo. They were my neighbor for a long time. And actually, Twitter got kicked out by out of the space that they were in by Netflix expanding their at that time soon to be streaming service. This tells you how long ago it was. 2008, 2009, yeah, 2010. What DeSantis showed yesterday with 600 and some odd thousand people, I think is what they said was the top number that were online for an audio only announcement. As I've said, I actually worked with phone systems at MCI before I became an investigator, actually doing the actual programming for the switches to do conference calls. And I don't mean small conference calls. I mean like large company conference calls. In the beginning days of conference calls over the phone, where you would just literally have the entire company call in. And yeah, they were glitchy as a motherfucker back then because we were talking sometimes upwards of 600,000 calls. But that was a phone call, not an internet feed of just audio that you're not even talking back to.
It ain't gonna work.
Oh my God. And this bullshit where they keep saying, Elon Musk is such a brilliant person. He's so brilliant. He knows everything. He's such a brilliant person. Well, how long has he owned Twitter now? Now I've noticed it's gotten some pretty changes. But a lot of what I'm seeing does not look like he's done what he said he was going to do, which is this really kind of complete fix of the site, taking it to something like a Kubernetes instead of a Puppet, because I know the entire site was run on Puppet. How do I know that? Because my Puppet wasn't good enough to go work for them. I was like, no, thank you. They were like, why? Because I don't want to get that proficient in Puppet. It's just not it's just not a system. It's a management system that literally can run your entire site, as you can tell by Twitter, because literally it was run on that. And part of what we were talking about doing was revamping and getting rid of the Puppet part and putting it more on a Kubernetes side. Eliminating a lot of the Puppet for Kubernetes or even, there's one other system we were looking at too. So yeah, they're just things that they were looking at, but it was still in Puppet. So I don't know if he's done the changes, because a lot of the changes that were needed to be done would be things that would allow you to spin up your servers as you get bandwidth. And it doesn't seem like that's what they were doing. Give me 1 second here. I just need to let in my co-host.
Way better. If the money, the bills don't come up as quickly, the money doesn't go out as quickly, you might get another couple of days. But there's not 2 months, right? It is urgent to get it and to avoid even whisper.
And you never know how the tax things are coming in.
He's funny. But it's just... Really? Really? Okay, so I'm back.
Percentile of my audience is probably.
But okay, so he literally, it doesn't look like, 600 and some odd thousand people without video is not that bad. It's really, Twitch and others have been doing much more than that. I mean, I know YouTube is not a fair comparison because I know that I don't even know, has Elon even moved it? Because I know at one point he wasn't paying any of his bills downtown, and he's been in all these. I need to look it up and see how many lawsuits he's in. Because that seems to be how he seems to run his companies too. Because unless the government pays for it, he seems to just default on it. Pay $44 billion and then default on all your shit. Lay off your entire staff, including the people who know what they're doing. Mock people who are actually companies that you bought up, that you kept the person that was working there for good reasons because they actually were helpful to you, and then mock that person because they are disabled. See, just like a dumb white man. Sorry, I'm going to keep calling you guys out for what you've become. Dumb white men who, for some reason, other dumb white men put a pedestal. Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's the Dumb White Man Club. The unfortunate part is most of that Dumb White Man Club are now fascists, too. All in for stupid white hate because dumb white men. Just getting annoying.
Biggest news coming out of some of this, though, is that Stuart Rhodes' defense team is blaming January 6th on Trump. They said January 6th would have never happened. There never would have been an insurrection. No one would have.
No, because nobody was talking about January 6th until the president started talking about January 6th. Go back and pay attention to who was. Nobody even thought about January 6th. January 6th was just another day on the calendar. It had nothing to do with shit about Shinola. Yeah, there used to be a few people that would come and celebrate or even watch because they knew what the day was, and it was ceremonial, but nobody knew what it was. Now we know.
Governor DeSantis' team is.
Now we not only know. Oh, hold on.
This morning that they don't often do. His team very often is not very forthcoming with public schedules, but now that the campaign is officially kicked off, they were very eager to announce a campaign swing next week across several early primary states and caucus states. He'll be in Iowa starting on Tuesday, then heading to
watch the odd happen. Why am I saying watch the odd happen? Because as DeSantis goes around the country, I just believe we're going to get so many more of these odd, as they put it, men in black moments, where literally DeSantis will act like he's got a little alien in him who just lost control for a moment. Oh, damn it.
On a day like today.
Yep. And of course, you're still going to have.
I don't think anybody should listen to me.
Sitting there the entire time, and I really wish. Really wish.
I don't think anybody should listen to me.
And their
alternative facts
would go away. Just go away. But it's not going to happen. But DeSantis is going to be funny. He's going to be funny because he's. And the thing is, the thing that's going to get him, the thing that's going to get DeSantis, this is the thing that's going to get DeSantis. It's not going to be the normal public. It might be one or two of the reporters that are with him during some of this shit. But what's going to get DeSantis is this right here. I know it's audio for some of you. I'm holding my phone with the camera particularly to the camera. Because this is the world by which the reason that they don't want TikTok is because this, and I'm holding my phone in the way I hate when you're videoing, but that's TikTok, is killing the GOP star because they can't figure it out. Mainly because the way TikTok works it actually pushes more of the shit you actually stay on. So if you're a liberal helper, you're going to see more liberal helper shit. If you're a conspiracy theorist, you're going to get more of the conspiracy theorist shit.
And this is going to put pressure on them.
And unfortunately, they don't like that they can't control it.
The judges.
It's not American.
Stuart Rhodes.
I mean, the data still bugs me, because it still bugs me if fucking Meta, Facebook, was owned by the government.
Wonder where he got.
We'd all be screaming, ooh, I don't want to be on that. I'm not going to be on that.
Governor Trump, I think he got the idea that he's a political prisoner.
It's just true. You wouldn't be on it.
Rhodes blames the radical left.
That's just a fucking fact. I mean, literally, if the government came out tomorrow with their own social media network, would you be on there for anything but just looking around? Would you really post anything up there?
That he's going to be sent
Would you seriously
probation.
go on there and just put your entire life up there?
See him.
Including the fact that your IP address that you posted from will be known?
Whoa. This judge is not probably going to have this kind of shit. These fucking.
Would you? I really want to know, would you?
And the judge may slap
I don't know.
ears on this motherfucker.
I think most of you would go, no, I wouldn't. Just like you, for some reason, have no problem doing with TikTok, though.
Tirade on Antifa.
I don't quite get it, but, okay, I guess they've now really separated.
Expressionless.
Sorry, I'm watching also on the other screen, for those of you who are watching live right now.
He wrote these remarks.
The Virgin Atlantic flight, where they send
Probably not good. I don't know.
space tourists up, is doing one of the very first they've done in how long? About a year, I guess?
About Trump and DeSantis. What Stuart Rhodes is
I believe there's six people on board, as you can see by the number one space that is sitting here.
It's the reason why Trump
But I'm kind of like also wanting to
2020
think about the fact that I really have a feeling
because he believes
that we are about to hit a very
in front of a
weird, rocky road.
to the rest of his life in a better he's still doing it. And you're standing around wondering why Ron DeSantis
As we approach the debt ceiling, which should
fucker
finish tonight,
cult. It's
if it doesn't finish tonight, look for this weekend,
fucking cult.
or maybe even next week, there'll be a talk of the discharge petition being put through.
Takes
Seriously, because they only need 5
much
people.
effort it takes to break the fever. Some
And I think they could get it.
fever never breaks. They
Plus, I've heard of a couple of other things that they're working on that actually might upend Kevin McCarthy, because
and have drank the Kool-Aid. They drank the COVID.
let's remember this is all put together by them. They've always just raised the debt ceiling without much of a to-do, blah, blah, blah.
2020.
May have stuck some other things on there that needed to get appropriated at the time, but usually nothing to deal with the debt ceiling itself. Just other things we can put on there. Since we're going to do this and we've got the votes for it, right? We're okay with this, right? Yeah, we're okay with that, right? Raise the debt ceiling, fine.
Helping them on. Bull.
Might get a few objectors because, hey, yeah, we shouldn't, blah, blah, blah. Spending, which is bullshit.
Someone's defending DeSantis. And when someone's
Again,
defending Trump,
You've already spent the money.
see what I'm doing there?
Your credit card is over the limit.
Folks, they're going to burn each other.
You either pay it down
Donald Trump
and make some room on it, because every bill you have goes to it, and you're going to start bouncing bills.
stop. He's going to ruin
That's all you're doing. You're paying down your goddamn credit card.
the beginning. And Ron DeSantis,
So this bullshit about spending, blah, 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 blah. Guess what?
he has to drop.
If
Or his corporate
Trump's tax cuts weren't there,
donors tell him you're
and
done.
Bush's tax cuts weren't there,
This will be done.
just those tax cuts, no other increases,
Cult from Trump does.
we would be just about break even. With what Biden did at the 15% puts us just above break even.
That Ron DeSantis,
Without those tax cuts,
Republican donor class, the establishment
without us all giving $30 a piece
want them.
to the top 3 companies
We'll get them eventually.
every year.
Ron DeSantis is their own.
Yes, that's what you're doing. Go look at what they get back in money when they are profitable, and you will understand
You don't even know who the fuck that is.
how fucked up this system is,
Some do, who are
what it allows them to get away with as far as write-offs go, that should not be there. Yeah, I would love to see this simplified system of 20 or 20, 19 or 13% across the board. But it would have to be on every single thing. And that's the problem. It would have to be on every single transaction on the stock market. Yes, every single one would be taxed. And they don't want that because that would be billions of dollars of income without ever touching anything we do. See, that's the problem with their flat tax system. It can bring in billions, but it literally means you tax everything. Everything at that rate. It doesn't have to be a huge rate. It just has to be high enough to... And it really doesn't have to be that high. We've kind of gone through the numbers. But again, the flat means you have to do it against everything. Every single sale, including every single transaction on the stock exchange. Everyone. Every private sale. Every one. See, those are things that if you don't know right now, there are certain private sales that can happen where no taxes are actually paid. None. Zip, zero, zilch.
But it doesn't matter because
when it used to be, part of what you had to do was prove that you could pay the taxes and go on. Nah, I don't need that anymore because you know why? These venture capital companies will now take your company and rip it apart anyway. They don't need to do that.
Already really lost.
They want the write-off of the loss.
And he hasn't lost yet.
They want the write-off of breaking it up and selling off the best parts that they can.
There's like a 0
without taxes. Crazy.
Probably a better chance that Grandpa Poopy Pants gets a Big Mac lodged and he takes a dirt nap before he hits the ground. Hopefully. But here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Worry about that.
Is that Ron DeSantis will not win this primary. But
Ron DeSantis is too nerdy, too weird, too strange, too... I don't even know what else to call him. He's just not, he's not going to be
Donald
it.
Trump think he's a leftist, to make them think Donald Trump is a leftist. That's the other thing. Because of COVID, because of Ron DeSantis' wokeism, we're against Disney and blah, 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 yakety schmackety, all that nonsense. Right? He's focused on genitalia. And he can't get his mind off the LGBTQ community and how
because
he can
that's how
exterminate them.
literally, I keep saying this too, and I will keep saying this. Please pay attention. They're going to, and Texas Paul said the same thing because I was saying this in 2005 when I started the shows originally. If they keep going down this path, and they are really far down it now because the Supreme Court has now changed over, just like I said it would,
And we can use it to our advantage.
that they are trying to head to a system that will not work. But will we have to go through an entire civil war and maybe even, oh wow, that is so cool. So cool the way it just drops off and just goes. Holy shit, that is cool.
More fascist than Donald Trump, and Donald Trump is a lefty.
Sorry, I'm gonna bring these guys up a little bit more because that is just something. Oh, look at this.
It's now above 60,000 feet, which means it's above controlled airspace.
Wow.
And it's now dropped off the telemetry tracking because they don't know how to deal with these numbers.
Right.
It's too fast. Too high, too fast, too blah, blah, blah. I'm a sensor that can't
Good
go that
exhaust trail
fast. Or sometimes I'm a sensor that needs more air.
During this, no gimbals on that engine.
It's just a rocket engine.
And so now they cut the engine, and they are just cruising north. So they're going up at Mach 3 when they cut the engine.
We actually got a little bit of the rumble there, it
Mach
sounds like, Scott.
3.
I can hear it.
Wow, listen to oh wow. That is something. Oh, listen to it. You can hear it.
Just
On his microphone, on his camera.
So the official ground
Holy
speed is
shit.
20 knots because it's basically going straight up, and ground speed is speed across the ground.
Wow.
You can hear the rumble.
You can hear it. That is so weird. Okay.
Robbing children of the chance to find their voices in literature is a violation of their right to free thought and free speech. Joining me now is Democratic Congressman Max.
Thank you.
Florida. the youngest lawmaker on the Hill. And in age, you're close to Amanda Gorman,
Correct.
the young poet laureate who spoke at the inaugural, of course. Congressman, this is your home state. You read one of Gorman's poems, in fact, I understand, to a class of...
A class. He literally read it to a class
Black
recently.
History Month. So what is your reaction to the move, to the message to the students?
Of course, disappointed, but not surprised. You know, these attacks on education, these attacks on literature, these attacks on black literature and black history have been ongoing over the past several months by Ron DeSantis and the entire DeSantis regime in the state of Florida. He's working to abuse...
No, it's a regime. It is a regime because they want white supremacy.
You just said that...
That is what a regime wants.
It is bad.
A regime wants something that makes no sense, has no point in science or all law that any person's...
One person. You don't even have to be a parent in the state of Florida to get a book banned from the shelf.
Right.
You can just be a random...
It's 11 fucking people. It's 11 fucking Karens who have got most of these books banned across these states. Think about that. Why in fuck's name is a democracy being controlled by 11 fucking people? Why the fuck do we keep listening to stupid white men? Forgive me. Civil War, World War I, World War II. I keep hearing the same shit. Stupid white men. Where we actually call conservatism exactly what is happening in Florida. An extreme form of conservatism, says CNN. Bullshit. This is not conservatism. This is nothing. Tell me what the fuck you're conserving. Please tell me what the fuck you are conserving. Tell me one fucking thing these people are conserving. And don't give me some bullshit about some Christian life, because they're not conserving that either, because they don't have it right. Sorry, I'm watching a bunch of white men dressed in suits with shaved fucking faces telling me how their fucking book works.
So when we get down,
maybe they haven't read their fucking book from beginning to end.
It's possible. So that we can prove,
or maybe their shit is just that, bullshit. Made up crap that's a bunch of white supremacist, old goddamn dumb men who we need to stop fucking listening to.
Even more.
Really, that simple.
Prove it to ourselves, folks. Ourselves, the pro-democracy coalition, that there is a through line.
Thank you.
There is a through line of pro-democracy principles, that people want rights, freedoms, and liberty. Yes, we may disagree on the amount of wages. We may disagree on the actual the extent of unions in labor. We may disagree on how much here or how much there, but that's debates we can have on a serious level with serious people in our serious government.
Can we do it? Can we do it?
But until we get these unserious fascists out of our government, that is the threat.
Yep, I agree.
Rather we mock them like the Democrats laughed at Marjorie Taylor Greene yesterday when she gabbled for decorum in the House, and they laughed at her.
Just how can you? How does this person who screams across the place?
Ron DeSantis and his failed launch and his failed campaign from the get-go.
Forgive me. You know how I talk about the dumb white men? Well, here's the dumb white woman doing the exact same thing because of her dumb white man.
Every single weekday, Monday.
And if you listen to her bullshit, where she literally chases after kids who watched their fucking friends be shot and killed, who had to step over their goddamn bodies.
I'm right on top of it. I know exactly where the
if this bitch was taken into any school like Uvalde just after it and had to watch and look at that, maybe, just maybe we could shut her up. But you know what? Steve Scalise kind of proves it doesn't fucking matter. They're fucking all in for their white supremacy. They are all in for their bullshit.
Go to the community tab on YouTube.
They will not do anything but that same bullshit. And that's the problem. We've got to stop doing this.
We will break it down. Me and my co-host, Gabe Sanchez, tomorrow in the second hour.
Frustrating. Very, very frustrating.
Apple, Spotify, and Google.
Give me a second and we will be right.
Discount on the audio version.
It's just crazy. Okay, let's see where we're at on the It's just
Fucking Elon Sims don't know what radio is. Whoosh. Okay, you get the audio.
they admit that they're holding us hostage,
Tony Michaels podcast. Go ahead, you can download
and the media doesn't seem to care
500,000 times.
because they just keep doing this stupid both sides bullshit.
Just audio. It's not complicated stuff.
When that's not true. There's a discharge petition that's signed that would get us a clean, nice bill done. The end. What we've had for 100 years.
Tony Michaels, and thank you.
See, it's just this bullshit about precedents and how, we don't care about it. We should just fix all this shit and go back to a system that was not working ever before because it never existed before. Ever. What you are trying to do has never happened before because technology is a quite different animal. Science actually proves almost every single bullshit thing you're saying as complete and utter bullshit. Crap. Shit that should not be listened to, but for some fucking reason, thanks organized religions,
Non-Prime account though, it doesn't cost you a single extra nickel.
where you can literally say because of a non-existent, unprovable thing floating in the sky,
It says link.
I live by... No, what bullshit? In other words, I can live by a fake fucking dream
Prime account, you'll
and ignore all reality of everything that actually makes everything that I'm sitting here doing possible.
maybe after the show.
It ignores all science.
Open a Twitter
Everything that gets you from place A to place B without fucking crashing every time.
Tony Michaels, that's Twitch.
It just fucking gets on my nerves that we are literally sitting here doing this shit
Prime account, give us that.
as if it's some 12th century ugh.
Have Jeff Bezos' money every
Breath.
month. Everyone
Breath.
Go anywhere. We'll be right back. Right after this.
All right. So it's amazing that,
We
okay.
don't have visual on it in the right-hand frame, but Jack out there squinting into the bright New Mexican sky.
It's over New
trying to
Mexico.
find not a cloud up there. It looks like such a you know something? I love it out there. You may look at it and be like, oh, it's all desert and it's brown and dead, but the desert is it's such a place to be. If you've never been, I really recommend you go check it out. A lot of tourism options at Spaceport America.
You reach out and give that true American a hand. Now, here's your chance.
He really does do a good job with these.
$50 a day.
I love the fact that
those true Americans recover from
thank you. He's got another one out.
These are those Trump supporters, and this is that
I've done it a
moment.
couple times, Jack.
Send your donation via Venmo to the real president, Donald J. Trump.
And you can stand there.
It's only $50 a day, and it means you'll get these Trump supporters the critical help they so desperately need to survive under this false regime. Please donate now, because
he does such a good job on these.
You just saw. Can't wait another moment.
He does such a good job on these. I'm sorry. I just had to take a break and let him in. And let's see, where are we at? We're on Subway. Let's not Subway. I just the other thing I wanted to take just a quick minute about, as we hit the 33-minute mark, Jesus, is just a quick minute about
After the show.
the quick things that I just
Joe Flood is going to join us tomorrow. You remember the guy on the red bike?
Are we actually looking at
He's going to join us
Mark Meadows either being
at the bottom of the hour. So like right now, this time tomorrow,
cooperative
we're going to bring the red bike
or indicted?
Joe Flood, who was talking.
And what I mean by that is
Get a sense of what
a lot of the organizations are starting to say that Mark Meadows is possibly cooperating.
terrorist. The U-Haul.
Could he be cooperating?
He shot a picture of that. He showed it on the show the other day, and everyone said, "Hey, get him on."
My question would be to that.
In conversations with Joe Flood, I think I'm doing an audio video test for him this afternoon. So after I'm done with that, after I'm done editing, doing the audio video test, I will do an Ask Me Anything on Patreon. So go to Patreon.
Yeah, let's just talk a little about this right quick before we go back to Tony, because would it be game over I honestly believe that the game over, again, I've said this over and over again. Dumb white men do dumb white men shit. Similar to what Fox did, because Fox is filled with dumb white men who do a lot of dumb white men shit, like send everything that they are thinking and wanting to say via voicemail, email, SMS. I mean, almost any way you can do it is the way they do it. And I just don't get it. God damn it. What the fuck? Shit. Chrome, your shit is starting to stink immensely. No, I'm sorry. Not starting, as always. Anyway. My point is, I don't think it's going to make much of a difference whether he is there or not. Because he's part of the white supremacist cabal. He is as big a bigot as all the rest of them. It's part of the reason he was picked. His original chief of staff, the general, or whatever he was, would literally have been one of the people in my father's officers candidate school calling him a nigger. Oh, I'll say the word because I'm over it. I'm fucking over it. If I hear woke one more time fuck your bullshit. Yeah. I'm not saying Kelly is one, but I'm saying my father got called it the entire time he was in school, and Mr. Kelly would have been one of the prime examples of one of the people who would have done that. Sorry, just would have been.
Question from Forrest.
See, because for some reason in 1968, 69, 70, they thought that was fine. For those of you who don't remember, that's back in the day when you literally had one of the GOP folks, as the newly formed GOP, starting to take on the mantle of being a conservative group, white supremacists, fascists, saying that they could no longer say the nigga. They could only say, now we're going to say urban and busing and blah, blah, blah. We've heard this. If you're a liberal from anywhere, you've heard the recording. I will maybe one day pull it out and put it forth to you, but it's very well known. And they do say it all the time. Well, this is an urban asshole.
I mean, they might be equitable.
He's a urban asshole like there is no other urban asshole who needs to be fucked by all the urban assholes who he's against. But I believe what's going to fuck this urban asshole,
small ones, you got big ones. Sometimes you got a stout margarita. Sometimes you got a weak margarita. You know, who knows?
Is the fact that, like I say, the GOP is very good at one thing: being stupid white men who do stupid white men shit, thinking it won't blow back on them.
No one knows what the hell
in his SMS, in his texts, even in some of the shit he recorded himself, thinking that nobody else is going to hear it, it's all encrypted. Dude, if there's a server in the middle, you're an idiot.
I think he is pretending.
Even if it's your own server. Yeah, just because I keep my email on my server at home does not mean I trust that server either. Even though it's got everything on it that I can do to make sure it stays clean, I still will never trust it.
Then Mark Meadows.
And I will not keep anything on there that does not need to be on there.
Maybe even Mark Meadows.
Doesn't mean there isn't another side to it, but on my side, it shall be cleaned.
The end of the video was where she's talking.
But see, the problem is, if done right, everything he put forth, Jack Smith has had for months. I'm still of the opinion that Donald J. Trump's attorneys, maybe not Donald, and if he was, it was probably a Zoom call again, was called in by Jack Smith and told, we're going to indict your ass. We're going to indict your ass probably in the next couple of weeks.
And that would be called a Peggy.
And we're going to indict your ass on this first, which is the documents case.
You guys with the fucking...
And then on top of that, there'll be a superseding indictment that maybe this asshole will be part of. This Mr. Meadows dude. But he'll be part of it either I don't know as a contributor to Trump's downfall, but maybe as a co-defendant. Maybe. I'm seeing co-defendant more than anything. Oh, well, Jesus. Whoa. Okay, hold on. Sorry, I gotta put this back. Oh, no. What the hell is this?
You really are.
Ex-Trump advisor ban and fraud trial set for May 2024.
Oh, man. Why
A year from now.
Regina on Facebook, why is Mark Meadows hiding? I mean, why are any of them hiding? You haven't heard from Cash Patel in a long time either. You remember Cash Patel was right up front. He was doing interview after interview after interview after interview.
And you know, the scary part is, as we sit here and we look at this date of a year from now, for those of you who don't get what CRT is,
yeah, bitch. And Cash Patel.
CRT is a system set
I mean, they're still paying.
by which certain people will always get the benefit.
We do.
Now,
We do have a
you're saying 2024. Wow.
know what the fuck.
But that's not that far away. I mean, that's really kind of soon.
On Twitch, wondering if
Is it?
I would try to figure it out. I don't really. I mean, you
Is it?
TheTonyMichaels.com.
Is it for something he's already been convicted on?
You,
Why does it take another goddamn year?
the Discord that we set up.
For something he's already been convicted on.
Again, the link is at TheTonyMichaels.com if you are interested in Discord. I don't know much about Discord. I'll be quite honest.
Why in hell's name would it take another goddamn year?
I can't keep up with every.
When he's already been convicted on this shit. If you don't get that, that's part of what it's talking about. It's a system by which you can literally delay your way out of the case. It's a system by which you can literally, literally, that's what Trump does.
Broadcast radio, but it's
He gets out of it by delay, to the point where his people are either bankrupt because he hasn't paid them, and that's what the courts allow you to get away with, by making sure there is a humongous delay.
no shit, Sherlock.
See, if we actually wanted to do this right,
I don't know.
the number of judges and courts would be literally 4 times the number there are today.
They know that it's
And a court case would be no more than 70 days away. The end.
off or not. And the first time they really did Twitter.
Well, what about more complicated cases? Maybe another 70 days, but why are you taking years? Well, the reason it takes years is because our court systems are so overwhelmed because we don't pay for them. Again, if you do not understand how the white supremacy of this system works, and it does the same thing in South Africa, by the way.
On Facebook, Discord is basically chat room.
Does the same thing in England, by the way.
Like an archive chat room where
Does the same thing in France, by the way. It does the same thing in almost every fucking country with a legal system.
you guys want to go over there.
You will find that most of them, in most countries, short of a few,
I don't know it. I'm
Denmark, Sweden, countries kind of like that,
where the fuck. So
where they have a little bit more invested, a few more years, a little bit more neutrality. Not saying they're better, just saying they're a little faster.
all the social media.
But that's part of the CRT. That's part of the bullshit of something that you cannot teach
If I'm
to a kindergartner.
probably there.
See, the first thing you have to teach the kindergartner
on it, but it's there, and you can.
is why his parents telling him that this bullshit white supremacy is a good thing is not. Because societies actually work when everybody gets together and does things that actually promote these things to go forward.
They don't
Like maybe figuring out how we get rid of the need for any form of flight when we figure out how gravity works. Because we've gotten all these brilliant people that we've educated all these years who now have quantum computers that they can think through and figure shit out. Oh, we're not doing that. We're making sure people stay poor. We're making sure that the army and the military are much bigger than the actual educated population. That we could literally take 21% from that military and it would barely be noticed and have the most educated populace ever. I'm not saying it wouldn't still be a white supremacist haven, but at least it'd be a little bit better educated. And you actually find that when the people are educated better, those incidents of white supremacy do tend to go a little bit further down. Just a wee bit further. We may get from 12% down to 8%, maybe even 6%. It can happen. Be wonderful. I don't foresee it happening, but you never know. You never know.
Let's just go to some videos because I got some stuff.
What's everybody else talking
about? In terms
of
the weapons that we provide them. There are also reports that...
We're Ukraine?
Has it been announced? Okay. The judge is speaking, apparently, about 4 minutes ago. The judge said this. Let me pull this up here. Here's from Scott McFarlane. He says, the judge says, Mr. Rhodes, you were convicted of seditious conspiracy. You're a lawyer. You understand what this means. Judge discusses history of seditious conspiracy dating back to the Civil War era. Quote, a seditious conspiracy is among the most serious.
Look at these people liking this.
An individual
loving it. Scott McFarlane. Love you. Love you for reporting this. Thank you.
It's an offense against the people
I
of the country.
Do have that.
Judge says, and what is the motive? You didn't like the new guy, referencing Joe Biden. So the judge is speaking right now, currently as we speak. And what the judge will do,
there he is, Scott McFarlane.
The judge will
Scott's just putting it out.
Give his opinion.
I mean, he is just
his little diatribe
Judge,
on
we will
what
hold our
and why he's going to give the sentence and why his points for the sentence will be, and then he will lay down the sentence to Stuart Rhodes. He will more than likely gavel.
He is doing some seriously fast typing.
Will be toted off into an orange jumpsuit because you got to remember Stuart Rhodes is in an orange jumpsuit.
I don't care. He is doing some seriously fast typing.
On his pre-trial since he was arrested,
Scott McFarlane,
and his post-trial waiting his sentencing, and then he will then be released into the custody of BOP soon after. They process him for his sentencing because BOP actually carries out the sentence. So let's say I'm correct. Let's say I'm correct, and that the judge gives him a dirty 30. Which here's what a dirty 30 is.
What is wrong with these people? Okay, she is not a hero.
Here's more from the judge.
I wish I could show you guys
we cannot have a group of citizens
timeline, but unfortunately, that timeline is filled with a lot of crap.
To take up arms.
Thank you, Elon.
A revolution. That's what you did. Oh my God. Uh-oh. You are not a political prisoner, Mr. Rhodes.
Whoa.
The judge replies in his speech. The judge says 12 jurors.
I love the fact that he's saying that.
Of sedition. This was a juror of your peers. Make no mistake about it. The judge then goes on to say 25 seconds. Here he says, we all now hold our collective breaths with the election approaching. We will have another January 6th? Question mark. It remains to be seen. So the judge not only is the judge replying to the past events, but maybe future events like January 6th that could happen.
He's literally saying, I'm not going to have this shit.
Here is the judge is just raised the fear of felt by a number of Americans about the outlook of the aftermath of the 2024 election. The judge says, quote, we will now hold our collective breaths with an election approaching.
Look at that when it first lets go.
Oh, that's the one I just read.
It drops off.
Let's see. Is there any more? Judge keeps going to the same one. I'm trying to follow the thread here as we go along. Oh boy, it's not going well for Stuart Rhodes. It doesn't look well for Stuart Rhodes in this situation.
How many years is he going to get?
30 is. I keep saying that. Dirty 30 is 20 years in prison, 10 years probation. That's where the 30 comes in. Dirty 30. Now, the prosecution is asking for 25 years. That's what they're asking for. Stuart Rhodes' sentencing guidelines is between 21 and 27 years, I believe. That's his sentencing guideline, is between 21 and 27 years. So we will see if we have what his sentencing will be.
Maybe in about
here in the next few moments.
9,
And it looks like the
10.
judge
So as soon as I finish the show and
here very soon,
I'll run and get dressed and run up there.
Scott
and
goes on
go
to
pick
say
it
the
up.
judge discusses Rhodes' 58 personal and professional background, including Rhodes' military service and his law degree from Yale. Did you know that?
Yale.
That Stuart
Yes,
Rhodes
he
has
went
a
to Yale.
law degree.
Yes, he did. He went to Yale.
Stuart Rhodes is a fucking Ivy League school elite.
Again, like I said, I want us to have the most educated populace in the world. But just because you have an educated populace does not mean you have a smart populace.
Lawyer. Come on, man. Give a fucking break. Give me a fucking break. Oh yes, I wanna mention too why we're talking about Stuart Rhodes, because I've interviewed Stuart Rhodes' son, Dakota Adams, Dakota Von Adams, and his ex-wife, now ex-wife Tasha Adams.
Oops.
And she actually finalized her divorce just the other day. I posted that video. They posted the video. They went to the courthouse, and so now Stuart Rhodes is not only going to go to prison for a long time, but he's divorced. Have you been following this news, Gabe Sanchez? Looks like Stuart Rhodes is going to get sentenced here pretty goddamn quickly. Let's see if the judge has laid it down. He's giving his speech here. The judge goes on to say, Scott's reporting from inside the courtroom here, Gabe. He says, it's really not my job to pass judgment on the Oath Keepers organization. It's my job. It's my job to pass judgment on Mr. Rhodes. The judge blasts Rhodes for turning positive attributes against the country. We'll see here. It's coming very close to Stuart Rhodes getting handed down the sentence for seditious conspiracy. The craziest part so far, or the two craziest parts that I think, is that that Stuart Rhodes' defense team, during their argument of why the judge should lower the sentence for Stuart Rhodes, is it was Donald Trump's idea for the insurrection. Like, literally, they were like, look, none of this would have happened if Donald Trump wouldn't have tweeted on December 19th, 2020.
I mean, look, if Stuart Rhodes and his team want to throw Donald Trump under the bus, and they have more
I think
evidence
they've been throwing him under the bus
not that it's going to
for
get
a
Stuart
while.
Rhodes, off the hook. But if he's got stuff he wants to show for his defense, by all means, double back, do it.
Yeah, get the shit, motherfucker. Well, the other thing that's crazy to me is Stuart Rhodes actually spoke, and he thought it was a good idea to say that he was a political prisoner, and the judge rebuts it in his speech.
He says right away, you are not a political prisoner. There's nothing about you that is a political prisoner.
Giving his remarks to lay down the sentence, he says, you are not a political prisoner. You committed sedition, which is one of the worst acts that an American can do. And it's only treason that is worse. Seen guilty by a jury of your peers and convicted, friend. So nobody else. You're not a political prisoner.
No,
this is not some political witch hunt.
No,
this is federal court. Now you can have your opinion about justice in this country and the feds and the Department of Justice and the court system and the BOP. I have a lot of opinions of that, and not all of them are favorable. Let me tell you, it's not all favorable. I actually believe the two-tier system that MAGA has been bitching about the last fucking 6 months.
It's true.
Exist. And they're just mad that it's not going to protect people like Donald Trump or Stuart Rhodes anymore. Yeah, that's the crazy part about this is the judge brought up that, hey, Stuart, look, you are a lawyer. You were educated at Yale. And that's the funniest.
Again, like I said, part of the CRT that I'm talking about is that right there. Right there.
It's really exciting when these things happen. And obviously,
you are not a political prisoner. The amount of time you're going to be in jail.
Man of the people, the man of the average person, right? And one of the spearheaded groups of the Oath Keepers to go overthrow the government when he declared martial law. The head of it, the founder, and the person who was leading the charge that day with the Oath Keepers there in Washington met with the Proud Boys, for crying out loud, the night before at Enrique Tarrio, who is also
Wait. Are you telling me? Now, I know that he went to Yale, and we learned those things when we had the interview with Tasha and Dakota.
Yeah.
And if anyone hasn't watched that from last year, 2021, 2020, no, 2022. Yeah. Right? I forget. Anyway,
it's been a lot.
Yeah,
man.
It's been a while. But in that interview, it's great.
yeah.
They reveal some stuff. They talk about stuff. They talk about the whole eye situation for Stewart.
How he might have lost it because he was trying to commit suicide.
Now, when I think about it, are you telling me that the leader of the Oath Keepers is an elitist?
That's what I just said on. Yeah, that's what the judge is alluding to. I think that you're not a dumbass.
Ivy League East Coast elitist.
Right. That may not have been how he was born. That may not have been how he was raised, but that's where his degree is from. So fuck you with this stupid shit that it's leftists that are fucking elitist. It's your elitist who fucking founded the Oath Keepers, who is being sentenced today more than likely to 20, 30, maybe even more with prison sentence and probation. I think he's going to get a dirty 30. I really think the judge is going to give him 20 years plus 10 years probation is what he's going to give him here.
Okay, so people want to know how he lost his eye. And I'll give you the TLD.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
So Vanity Fair, I think, did an article, and they said, this is how he lost his eye.
By the way.
They got it wrong. He did teach.
We were the ones who broke the story, though, with Tasha. Yeah, we were the one who broke the story.
So the way that it goes is they were like back in '93 or whatever. He shot his eye out at a firing range as an instructor. Those are two separate events. He was an instructor at a firing range. However, to get all the fucking tea and all the gossip, you definitely have to watch the interview because Tasha talks about what happened. But basically, he shot his own eye out by mistake with the gun that he had. Basically, what she alluded to was there was probably dropped it and it was a misfire.
It was like a bad drug deal, right?
Yeah. But all of the details they gave into it are worth it. You should go back. We'll put it in the description if you guys want to watch the interview. It's so good.
Actually, if you go to the YouTube channel, you go to playlist, you just go to Oath Keepers and Proud Boys playlist, and that interview with Tasha.
Perfect.
And Dakota.
I kept saying the same.
I got some news.
We got to watch Rosie.
Emphasizes this is important that this judge is saying this because this is different.
I'm going to be watching Rosie because it's the end of the show. We've done our hour for today.
That those who were called to Washington by Rhodes, quote, bear responsibility for their actions, end quote. He says they were also victims of lies and propaganda. So they're saying that Trump wasn't actually leading them there. Here's the statement before that. Actually leading, they were all, quote, bear responsibility for their actions. That those who were called to Washington by Rhodes, quote, bear responsibility for their actions.
Okay, hold on.
The judge emphasizes this is important that this judge is saying this because this is different from what the defense team of Stuart Rhodes is saying. The judge emphasizes that those who were called to Washington by Rhodes, quote, bear responsibility for their actions, end quote. He says they were also victims of lies and propaganda. So they're saying that Trump wasn't actually leading them there. Here's the statement before.
Is he? I don't know.
I did it backwards there. Sorry about that. It says judge says dozens came to Washington with some weapons. He's alluding to the weapons that were stored across the Potomac to, quote, fight in the streets. Because of Rhodes. The quote here is it happened
because of you, Mr. Rhodes.
Only because of you, Mr. Rhodes. So the judge in his sentencing remarks here is not blaming Donald Trump for the seditious conspiracy.
No, he's not.
He is saying it happened only because of you, Mr. Rhodes.
You called this,
he's
Mr.
emphasizing
Rhodes.
Again that yes, they bear the responsibility of actions, but they're victims of lies and propaganda. So,
but he does say victims of lies and propaganda.
The judge isn't exactly blaming Trump here. What?
But he's not.
You just dropped me.
But he is.
I hit the wrong bucket. I hit the wrong bucket. Yeah. Well, I hit the wrong bucket, man. God damn. Let's see. I'm waiting to see. I'm following this thread because Scott is typing it in like as it's
literally.
Going.
He's typing
so I'm waiting to break the news here of Stewards. But while we wait for that, and that is a great story, by the way.
Oh,
of
it's
how
so
Stewart
good.
lost his
So
eye.
good. So yes, the
reason why he wears the eye patch and he lost and is it's so nasty because he has he used to have a glass eye. But they tell the story about how he kept it in way too long and he never would wash it and it got nasty and it got infected.
Yeah.
And his eye socket got infected. So he can't wear he can't wear a fake eye anymore. That's where he has to wear the eye patch. So that's why
it's a whole thing. So yes, Vanity Fair got it wrong. He didn't shoot his eye out at a firing range. He wasn't doing anything with gun safety. It was like a drug deal gone bad wrong in some warehouse or some shit like that. And basically, it sounds like he dropped the gun and it was like a misfire.
18 years
and, boom,
in prison.
Got him in the eye. And that
judge sentences Stuart Rhodes to 18 years in prison.
In it, she goes into all these other details and everything else. Dakota talks about the tunnels they dug in the backyards. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, it's so good. It is good. You guys, and go watch all the interviews with Dakota because we've had Dakota on several times.
Sorry, hold on.
Scott goes on to say here 2 minutes ago, he tweeted, "I've heard Judge Matha, I think that, or Mita, issue other January 6 sentences. This is next level," is what Scott is saying. This is his reporting, particularly stirring, sobering, and more stern than any I've ever seen in the January 6 case. He goes on to say Rhodes is sitting slumped down a bit in his chair, occasionally taking notes as the judge unloads this scathing criticism. We're going to get to, here we go. Flash, judge sentences Stuart Rhodes to 18 years in prison. 18 years. So I was off by the mark of 2 years. I said he'd get a dirty 30. Oh, what the?
18 years.
What are you doing? What's going on?
18 years.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying to go here. Okay, here's the flash.
Well,
here.
it's like
Stuart Rhodes 18 years in prison for seditious conspiracy.
Look at all this.
Thank you, Scott, for being in the courtroom. So that's the news. Now breaking it here on the Tony Michaels podcast through Scott McFarlane's Twitter page. Jesus Christ, is it Monday or something?
Holy
I don't
shit,
know, man! I believe you went out for karaoke Wednesday, man. So you might be the one recovering.
That could be what the hell the problem is.
Karaoke.
So breaking news. It looks like Stuart Rhodes is going to get 18 years in a federal prison. My guess is he'll get 5, 7, 10 years of probation.
18-year notification,
almost, the full.
I am going to get the frack out of here.
I figured he'd get 20 and then 10, which they call it a dirty 30. That's why.
Unbelievable.
But he's getting 18 years.
18 years.
What's your first reaction to 18 years in prison?
I mean, not long enough, but all right.
Thank you. Not long enough.
I mean, 18 years is the longest that we've seen, right? Fucking.
This is the biggest January.
Right. I think the closest. Yes, but the closest one to that was 4 years.
Here's more news. The sentence was 216 months in prison with a 3 years supervised after. So he's going to get 3 years of probation.
21 years of
21 fucking years.
Years of supervised and prison.
Right.
Because the other one that we got was 4 years, and that was Big O.
Right, 4.5 years.
The guy who put his feet on Nancy Pelosi.
4.5 years, not 4 years. 4.5 years.
Stole documents.
Yeah, he stole a letter. I mean, which technically is a federal crime.
Right.
He stole her mail and then wrote a letter that said something about
"Hey bitch,
Pelosi.
come or something."
There's a video of him.
It was a death threat. Is really what it was.
Here's
the problem.
Barnett.
Here's Scott again right here.
For those of you who don't get the CRT thing, before we go. CRT is the fact that you can actually be a white man who literally steals shit from the federal government, threatens the Speaker of the House, and because that Speaker is a white woman or an Italian white woman, and not a white man, say Kevin McCarthy, doesn't get a tack on of a attempted or a threatening to attempt murder. So, yeah, there's your other form of it. Yeah, it's when you actually get away with shit. Yeah, you get 4.5 years.
And your 3 years.
But if you had been a defendant of any other fucking color, you would have probably gotten another 6.5 just for the threats.
On good behavior.
Just saying. Because that's usually the way these things run.
The rule, I know the prison bill that Trump passed, which, honestly, that's one of the only reasonable things that Trump did during his presidency. I don't think he went far enough with it. But, that's just my personal opinion.
Do we have an idea of where you, do you have an idea of where you think he'll serve his time?
Well, he was staying in Texas. Right. So generally, and that's one thing that bill did, that Trump signed, is they don't give you what's called windshield time or Con Air time, which means you have to be somewhere close within the vicinity of your family or your home. You know, it used to be the BOP. If they didn't fucking like you, and let's say you're from Florida, they were like, oh, you want to be a bitch? We'll send you to California. Right. And what it does is it isolates you.
Well, he doesn't have any family anywhere close there, man.
Well,
Tasha just got a divorce. They're free of that guy.
But
and
he's
now
gonna have a lot of weird supporters. He's going to be Stuart Rhodes will probably be a pen pal for a lot of fucking seditious.
Oh, these women are going to be all over this motherfucker. These women are going to make that man into one of the biggest pen pals in the goddamn place. And he's going to be a martyr for every white supremacist out there.
You know,
every fucking white stupid man
in a federal prison.
This man will now be a martyr to them, which just fucking sucks.
They cannot stop your.
Anyway, thank you guys. Support the show, and we will talk to you next time.